What's up guys, I'm Akila. Welcome to my channel. In today's video we're going to be reviewing Pat McGrath's new Skin Fetish Sublime Perfection Concealer / Corrector, as well as the Blurring Under Eye Powder. So if you would like to see how the concealer performs and my thoughts on the concealer, please keep on watching. Okay, so I'm excited to show you guys this concealer because I already tried it out. I wore it to an event. Usually when I do my reviews, I try it out for the first time with you guys, but this time I wanted to actually give it a try and see how it wears. So one of my subscribers requested that I do this review after seeing my Beauty Blender concealer review. So I went out that day. I think it released that day. So thank you so much. And I went to find it, and luckily for me, when I went to Sephora, they had a Pat McGrath representative there, so she was able to like match me to a concealer and help me find a powder. She was amazing. Thank you so much, Anna. If you're watching today's video, you really helped me figure it all out. Okay, so Anna pretty much matched me to a concealer that was like the perfect shade I could like spot correct with. It cancels out all of my darkness. Yeah, that concealer is shade number MD22. This concealer is like perfect, and because I like to have like that bright under eye, I went back and I bought MD17. Hold them next to each other. So like, yeah, you can see the difference between the two. Okay, so the concealer comes in around 40 shades. So the concealer is $32, so it is not cheap, but I definitely think it's worth it. Of course, in Pat McGrath fashion, the concealer is in a very luxurious container. It's glass. When I first picked it up, I was like, oh my gosh, this is heavy compared to like concealers that I already own. And I also got the powder for the under eyes. At first I had the dark powder, but once I tried it on, it was more so better for like an all over face powder. And I already have a powder that I feel like I can use all over my face. So I went back and got medium because I wanted that bright under eye look. Let me get the sequins off. Oh my gosh. Okay, so yeah, this is the packaging for the under eye powder, and this is what medium looks like. I'm going to you can see the sheen in that. It's so pretty. I'm going to go ahead and like leave some footage of the other shades because I was able to see and swatch those. I've never tried the Pat McGrath foundation, so I wanted to get a sample of it to wear along with the foundation. I've heard mixed reviews about this foundation, mainly because of the price and the amount of coverage. I don't think it's a full coverage foundation, so we're going to see how it looks on me today. I have it in shade 23. I have it in one of those little Sephora pots, so I'm just going to swipe it on my face. Since this foundation is more on the sheerer side, from what I heard, I'm not going to use a sponge. I'm going to blend it in with a brush. When I bought my Dior foundation, the guy told me when you have an expensive foundation, don't use a sponge that's going to soak it all up. So I always keep that in mind when it comes to like my more expensive foundations. I don't use sponges to blend them in. Okay, so let's go ahead and buff this in. $23 is damn near perfect. Like when the representative seen me and she was just trying to see like where to go with the foundation, she pretty much looked at me and already knew what foundation shade I was, so that was pretty cool. She knew her stuff. Okay, so this is one layer of the foundation. I can understand why some people wouldn't want to pay $68 for a foundation that's not full coverage. But we're going to try to build it up in areas where I have like scarring. Okay, so it did add a little bit more coverage. It's still not full. in my opinion, but I do like the way it looks so far. I don't really care if my foundation can make it to full coverage, but I know some of you guys do, especially with this concealer. Like, this concealer could like wipe away all of your sins. Like, it's amazing. Sometimes when these concealers say full coverage, they're not really full coverage. This one is really full coverage. So I'm gonna start off with 22, which is the shade that's closer to my skin color. When I was in the store, she tried this on under my eyes and like it wiped away all the freaking darkness. So I'm gonna just put that under my eyes just to like use as a corrector. Each concealer is supposed to be able to be paired with the corresponding foundation shade. It's supposed to be like one shade lighter than the foundation, but if you like that bright eye, I suggest go down a few levels. It depends on the look you're going for. Like, if you want more of a natural look, stick with the concealer that corresponds with your foundation shade, but if you want brightness, definitely go down in a tone that you think will look good on your skin. So I'm just putting this around here because I have darkness in this area. Another thing that I loved about this concealer is that once it dries, it sets, it does not move. Like, I had swatches on my hand that lasted the whole freaking day. So I found that really cool because sometimes with concealers, like, they're easily able to move. And I'm going to use a brush again to buff everything out. And you guys know how I love my Juno Sponge to blend out my under eye concealer, but I tried to blend this out with my brush when I first wore it and it blended out so beautifully. And I'm also going to just take it over my eyelid. I mean, like, look at that. That's full coverage. Okay, so now that I corrected my skin, I'm going to go ahead and use number 17 for brightness. I didn't try this one yet, so we're going to see how this one looks. I'm just going to keep it on the inner area, just a little bit on my chin, down my nose, a little bit right here. And I'm going to use the same brush to blend it out again. This is the same brush that I use for my foundation to correct, and I'm going to use it to add brightness as well. This is the Morphe M439 brush. Just look how that blended out. So pretty. Like, and I have like scarring on my chin and I don't see it right now. I'm sure blending this out with a smaller brush would be a lot more easier. And then for my nose, I'm going to use this little dome brush that I got from a set from BH Cosmetics and just blend out this concealer. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and do the under eyes. I'm doing a tapping motion. I wouldn't want to like drag around any product on my face. This is what it's looking like all blend out. Let me look at it up close before I set it. Like, this concealer is so bomb. It looks like skin. It's everything. It's really everything. Okay, yes, I know it comes with an under eye powder, but it's a really light powder, so I need to actually get in there and set with an actual setting powder. So I'm using the Anastasia Beverly Hills powder just to make sure it's set. I'm still going to use the other powder though on top. To kick off the powder and set my face, I use the Sephora Micro Smooth. Okay, so initially I had the deep powder, and the deep powder is like, if you're my skin tone, it's perfect to set your whole face with it. From the promos I've seen that if you're like my shade and you use the medium powder, you could get that bright blurring under eye effect. So I went back and got it in medium. It kind of reminds me of like the Micro Smooth powder by Sephora or Max Mineralized Skin Finish. It's similar. It's a baked formula that doesn't really have color, but depending on your skin tone, it may or may not show up. The medium definitely gives brightness. When I first touched it, I was like, wow, it's super soft. It's a super soft powder. And it does have a little bit of kickback, but this is what it looks like. Yeah, you can see it next to my setting powder. This is it right here. I'm gonna use like this little domed brightening brush from Alamar Cosmetics. I see something. I'm gonna try to go easy under the eyes because I already use a setting powder. This powder does have mica in it, so I know I've been seeing like people complain about the use of mica in beauty products, but if that bothers you, I just wanted you guys to know this powder has mica. I definitely think it added brightness. Like, I feel like my skin is starting to come together. I'm gonna go ahead and spray my face with Fix Plus, and then go in with my sponge and press everything out. And look at that. It looks like skin. It just looks like very flawless skin, and I freaking love it. Look at that. So I'm gonna go ahead and complete the rest of my makeup, and I'm gonna come back with my thoughts on the products, so I'll be back. Okay guys, I am back and my makeup is completed. Being that I already tested out this concealer, like I already have my thoughts on it. The only thing that I did differently today is have a lighter concealer and a lighter under eye powder, and I still like it. I think it's really pretty. Since the foundation isn't like on the full side, the concealer is like the perfect addition to her skin fetish collection, because you could put the foundation on to provide like a nice clean base, and then use the concealer to spot conceal and to correct anything that's a problem. And I think they work perfectly together, because I was still able to come out with a very flawless base and my foundation wasn't full coverage. Like, the concealer did its job. Okay, so like I know it's more on the expensive side, and if you can afford it, I definitely say give it a try. It's a very good concealer. Last week you guys saw me try out the Beauty Blender concealer, and I wasn't really too happy with the coverage, and let's just say that's not the case today. This is a high-end concealer. This is what I expect. If I'm going to be spending close to or $30 for a concealer, this is the kind of performance I expect from it. So yes, I recommend this concealer. You should definitely give it a try. Oh, and the powder is just like a nice added bonus. I'm a fan. Like, I've tried other products from Pat McGrath before, like eyeshadows and things, but the skin stuff, oh my gosh. Oh my god, maybe in the future I will invest in a bottle of the foundation, because I did really like it. It's everything just feels lightweight. It doesn't really feel like I have on a lot of products on my face, so that also gets a thumbs up for me as well. So if you found today's video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, and if you aren't already subscribed, please subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.